Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that believes that Kenny Rogers had it right when he sang, "Love will turn you around. Turn you around." Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Legendary, a James Bond deck-building game from Upper Deck. In Legendary, a James Bond deck-building game from Upper Deck, 1 to 5 players are going to go ahead and take on the role of that uncanny British spy as he attempts to take on some nefarious, evil masterminds within the context of 4 different James Bond films. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and give you a complete rules breakdown. I've reviewed Legendary games before, and this pretty much is a standard Legendary game. It's not Legendary Encounters. It's more of a straightforward Legendary system. There are a few other rules you do need to know, however. Player starter decks feature some of the iconic actors who play James Bond, including Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig, and Sean Connery. That's right, 2 Sean Connerys. What, George Lazenby wouldn't get his face up for licensing? Now you form your villain deck, which features, of course, the various henchman groups, villain groups, master strikes, scheme twists, and, of course, instead of bystanders, you have gadgets, which function the same way bystanders do in the Marvel game. In Legendary, a James Bond deck-building game, you play one of the 4 different films that James Bond is known for. You can play Goldfinger, Man with the Golden Gun, Goldeneye, or Casino Royale. One of these things is not like the other. Now, the mission cards that you put into the villain deck, they are specific missions that are kind of key plot points from the movies, and they will get progressively harder. You're going to have to actually create your villain deck with 3 different stacks that are shuffled independently, then placed on top of each other, so that the deck will get harder, and the missions will get harder as you proceed through them. Now, the danger levels on the mission cards reflect exactly how powerful they are. You want to prioritize taking those cards out. If ever the mission cards escape the on assignment area, which is like the city in the Marvel, then you have to move up your danger tracker that number of spaces. Many of your scheme cards will say evil wins when danger reaches a certain level. Now, the last mission card will have an inevitable ability. So when the inevitable card comes out at the bottom of the villain deck, you need to defeat that mission card. And essentially, you don't defeat it in a conventional way, you just have to fulfill its specific text requirements. Now, if you can't do that, or if ever the scheme succeeds, then the players lose, collectively, this cooperative game. But if you can succeed in defeating the final conditions on that inevitable card, then you and your friends win! Legendary, a James Bond deck-building game. Now, Legendary, James Bond deck-building game, is a pretty standard Legendary game in the system. The big innovation here is the danger, or rather the mission cards with the danger track attached to them. That can be very difficult to try to win the game when you're trying to get to try to knock out those cards. As you know, when you play Legendary, sometimes you just don't get the cards for attack value, and sometimes you need that. I think you can also use the recruit on some of them. But it can be hard to get the cards you need to take those out, but that's what you have to do, because if you don't prioritize those cards, they will get out, danger level goes up, and evil wins. So you got to make sure you get that. It's pretty fun playing through the movies. Of course, you see all sorts of the fun James Bond villains and the Bond girls like Xena Onatopp and Pussy Galore. Anyway, it's a lot of fun playing through the James Bond movies. I really like that, and I like that there are the 4 different movies to choose from. And my only kind of wish was there had been more than just the 4 movies. I wish they had 6 or 7 of the movies, and hopefully we'll see expansions that will have more movies that you can play through. Because heaven knows there are a million James Bond movies. Literally, I counted. There's 1 million of them. So it'll be fun to see in the future the more James Bond movies that come out. I just wish there were more in the core set. I haven't played them all. The ones I played, though, I have really enjoyed. It's fun. It's hard. Spoiler alert, I haven't beaten this yet. I do think it's beatable, but I haven't. It's been difficult. But it's fun, and I love Legendary. And the thing about Legendary is, like any good cooperative game, you're still having fun even when you lose. And I do. I have fun with this. I always have fun with Legendary, and I think James Bond is a perfect fit for this system. So my recommendation is, if you like James Bond, if you like the Legendary games, you're going to want to buy this one. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Kenny Rogers, I just hope that his ongoing embalming process continues to prove successful. We hope you hit that 1,000-year mark.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
I want you to know I kill more people than anybody else.